Hey everyone, as you can see, I am home right now, getting a winter break from college. I wanted to talk about the new video that's out by Bill Nye. He is using emojis, emoticons, things I don't use very much, to describe the theory of evolution in about a minute and a half. Now, I like the idea of it, of breaking things down, making it simple, connecting it to people, but obviously there are flaws in his videos, certain premises that he throws out, so I want to cover those real quick. The first thing he says almost right off the bat is that molecules just happen. Now, the probability of a molecule with 10 components, which is a very simple molecule, the probability of that molecule, those components arranging themselves into a functional molecule is 1 in 36,287. And that's based on the number of functional versus non-functional orderings that are possible with 10 components. And as the number of components increases, and some molecules have 300 plus, then the probability drastically declines even further to an impossible status. And then Nye goes right into speaking of single-celled organisms and then how they can become multiple-celled organisms without really explaining how they go from molecules to a cell. The road to that, to the creation of a cell, is even more complex. These cells include DNA, which is the genetic structure for that particular organism, and when you use that same probability, the same way with using mathematical probability, which science claims that it's based on math, then the chances, according to Frank B. Salisbury, who's a biology teacher, the probability of that typical DNA chain randomly forming is 1 in 10 to the 600th power. So hence, making the jump that molecules just happen is fallacious in itself, and then that from there cells will just naturally form is a pretty preposterous claim. If only Christians had the kind of faith that Mr. Nye does in chance. Now, Nye goes on to say, well, the key is time. Now, astrophysicists believe that there are no more than 10 to the 80th power particles in the universe, and that the universe in its present form is not greater than 10 to the 18th seconds old, which is 30 billion years, which is over twice as much as what most secular scientists would say the universe's age is. So let's also assume that each particle can participate in 1,000 billion events every second, which is impossibly high as well. Even taking all that, we're still left with 10 to the 110th power trials over history at most. Now remember, the chance of DNA forming is 1 in 10 to the 600th power. So in other words, there's not enough time for that to happen. Now even Nye's premise of the age of the Earth is wrong, because he says it's based on radiometric dating, which obviously in a short video you don't have time to explain that. But radiometric dating has 3 incorrect assumptions that it's based off of. First, it's that the decay rate doesn't change, or has not changed. Now when you're taking 100-year samples of rocks, that's not good enough to know whether or not it's changed or not when you're talking millions of years. Second, it's that it's a closed system, so the assumption is that there was no contamination in the sample to start with, and there hasn't been any since then. And the third incorrect assumption is that the starting point only contained parent elements, which when we're talking about beginning, the very beginning, way back in these rock samples, we don't know the real percentages of uranium based on how much lead that might have leaked into the rock. So again, I applaud Nye's effort to simplify that concept and to make it humorous, but continuing on with these lies needs to be called out. Be sure to check out the link to Nye's video below, as well as there's a link to my blog and my Twitter page, so you can hear more of my opinions even more often. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, as I had to learn something to make the video. And everyone have a good holiday season. I'm sure I'll see you around.